Just like the previous lesson, we're going to use SO, cut, and TOA. The sine of an angle is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. The cosine of an angle is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And tangent of an angle is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. SO, cut, and TOA. Number one, we're doing cosine, so I need the adjacent, the side that goes from the angle to the 90, adjacent, over the hypotenuse, the longest side. So the answer would be 16 over 20, which can simplify to 4/5. Number three, make sure you guys do both evens and the odds. Number three, sine is the opposite. Opposite of our angle is across from our angle, divided by the hypotenuse, the longest side. So this one would be 11 over 22, or 1/2 if you simplify. Cosecant. Now cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So if sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosecant of an angle is equal to the hypotenuse divided by the opposite. Secant of an angle is the hypotenuse over the adjacent, and cotangent of an angle is equal to the adjacent over the opposite. So in number 5, we've got to figure out what the hypotenuse is and put it over the opposite. So this one will be 17 over 8, which doesn't simplify. That's it. For number 7, you need to draw your own triangle. We're given that little a is always across from capital A, is 2. Little b is across from capital B is also 2. And the hypotenuse, c, little c, is 2√2. They're asking us to find the sine of A. Sine is opposite of A, which is 2, over the hypotenuse, which is 2√2. We can simplify because there's a 2 on top and bottom. That becomes 1 over √2. Simplify your fractions if you can. Draw your own triangle for number 8, 9, and 10. For number 9, we're given a right triangle. Theta can go either the angles that are not the 90. Since this is saying cosine is 1/3, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So my adjacent side is 1, my hypotenuse is 3. We do the Pythagorean theorem to find the third side. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. A and b are the two sides that make the right angle. C is always the hypotenuse. So 1 squared plus b squared equals 3 squared. 1 plus something squared equals 9. I take away 1 on both sides, so b squared equals 8. b is the square root of 8. We're asked to do the tangent. Tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. So the answer for number 9, the tangent of this angle would be the square root of 8 over 1, which is just the square root of 8. That's the answer on this one. Okay, number 11. We're given the hypotenuse. We're looking for the opposite of 63. So I'm going to use sine. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So the sine of 63 degrees is equal to x, the opposite, over the hypotenuse, 5.4. X is up high, so we're going to multiply. 5.4 times the sine of 63. 5.4 times the sine of 63, about 4.8. Make sure that your settings here is in degrees. If you're in radians, you're going to get weird numbers. See how it changed to 0.9? We want it to be in degrees, 4.8. So x is equal to 4.8. Make sure you're doing both the evens and the odds. Don't just fill in the ones I'm doing on here on this video. Okay, number 13. We got opposite and hypotenuse. So let's see, that's sine again. Opposite and hypotenuse is sine of 41 is equal to 7 over x. This time x is down low. Down low we divide. Up high we multiply. Down low we divide. So 7 divided by the sine of 41. 7 divide the sine of 41. About 10.7 if we go to the nearest tenth. X equals 10.7. Round them off to the nearest tenth. Okay, this one we have opposite and hypotenuse. I'm not going to do this one. We've done that opposite hypotenuse now a couple times. Let's do one that's not opposite hypotenuse. Let's see. Let's go over here. Here we go. Number 12. Number 12 has adjacent and hypotenuse. So this one would be cosine. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. So this one is cosine because we have the adjacent and hypotenuse. The cosine of 41 is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. X is down low, so we divide. 3 divide the cosine of 41. 3 divide the cosine of 41 is about, we'll say 4. If you go to the nearest tenth, that 9 goes up 1 if there's a 7 after it. So this would round to just 4. All right, make sure you do all the evens and the odds. Don't just fill in the ones I did on the video.